Hey everyone, I'm Bhavya, a Partner Solutions Architect at AWS, and today I'm joined by Rajesh, CTO of Matilda Cloud.
Hello everyone, this is Rajesh. Thanks Bhave for the opportunity. Today we will actually talk about the challenges in the migration and modernization space and how Matilda GenAI based solutions are enabling customers solve those problems.
Awesome, let's get started. So Rajesh, could we dive deeper into some of the challenges that come up when we talk about a migration and modernization project?
Absolutely Bhave. Migration to cloud is similar to, if you look at it from the simple logic, it is similar to people moving from a suburb to a modern city, right? Over the years, as we all know, right, people may have built in they made them their home. They have built a lot of personalized stuff.
Yeah.
And any time when they are actually planning to move, it is a stressful situation.
I can agree to that, yes.
Yes. So take the similar analogy there into when you are moving a data center, because every customer is unique.
Okay.
And over the years, they have actually built a lot of different unique custom applications in their data centers.
Sort of like personalizing your own home.
Yes, similar to personalizing, and they have actually built automation tooling around it so that it is actually how can it make their job easy.
Yeah.
And with that, also each of those customers have built unique applications.
I agree.
And the domain knowledge of each of those teams that they have around it is another key area.
I see.
So when we think about moving, they may have a lot of technology that is outdated. They have a lot of things that they have actually built automation around it. People is one crucial element.
There are a lot of aspects to
Technology is another. They have built processes, or as we talked about, automation around it. Now, when we think about how that can be transformed to AWS, it is not just moving as is.
Yeah.
There could be a lot of things going into how I can adopt the newer technology and or re-platform, as we call it, or where are the areas that I can leverage the latest technology like containerization. It could be overwhelming.
I agree. Yeah. So how can Matilda help sort of navigate some of these challenges and make it easier for a customer to move to AWS? Go on.
As we discussed, essentially, any move needs to have a proper planning.
Okay.
So defining the strategy around it, how you are planning to move, right?
So that would be like, why is the move happening?
Yes.
Okay.
So why are you planning to move, first thing?
Okay.
Along with that, you need to have the proper, because packaging of it, how they have actually over the years built different personalized items, like whether they are things like fragile items and other things like that. So proper packaging of the items is another key thing.
Okay, I see.
That's
so,
like you said, what?
Yeah. So the sort of, your living room stuff or your clothes need to be packaged separately. Something that's very sensitive, you don't want to break in transit. You
Right.
want to pack it as fragile, maybe leave it behind.
What you want to take or what you want to discard. So having different items in the strategy, like when you're moving, as well as what are you marking into what you want to do with it.
Okay, got it.
And the most important, is there any deadline for it, right?
Okay.
When do you want to move?
I got it. Yeah. So this would be in tech terms, it would be the cutover date, as we call it.
Yes. Is there any, as you said, from a tech perspective or from a data center perspective, is there any license implications that you have, renewal dates that are coming up, so that into the planning, these are considered or taken into account, right? Based on that, that strategy can also be changing.
Okay.
Right?
I agree completely.
So that's the key thing. If we go back to a customer, this analogy similarly applies,
Okay.
where our product Matilda helps the customer give a holistic perspective of what they have in their entire estate in a single pane of glass view.
Okay.
And with that data, it helps us first step to analyze and give an analysis what and how, and with the 3 Ws as well. Why, if the customer defines he wants to move and then he has implications on the dates, then gives a complete planning and helps group the different applications using GenAI as well, where we are actually talking about different type of applications that they have built different times.
Okay.
And then build the strategy around it.
So how would Matilda, I understand that strategy is sort of the AI piece that gives you the best recommendations.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I understand the move date. This is sort of an input from the customer as when do they want to move. But could you talk a bit about how Matilda can help sort of do with the boxing up or the packaging of our current estate?
Yes, that's where the key definition of Matilda assessments comes in.
Okay.
So we do analysis of the complete state of the customer in different ways of it, right?
Okay.
They are depending on the customer. Okay, it's cloud estate, they are API based models, or you are actually doing a agentless model, or different or agent based. Different ways of analysis of the customer estate to give them a holistic picture of that estate is the step one.
Okay.
And
So
through that,
sorry to interrupt, but
yes.
it sounds like, me calling up the moving agency and telling them I have a 700 square foot house that needs to be with 2 bedrooms.
Uh-huh.
So that would be just sort of, high level, not deep dive.
Mhm.
Or you could have someone come in, like an agent
Uh-huh.
from the moving agency,
Oh,
to
very good analogy.
to analyze,
Yes, yes.
what is needed, what is the amount of boxes, etc.
Absolutely. So that's what you are saying is absolutely right. So it's essentially giving them how you have to structure your move.
Okay.
And it goes into the depth of, like, say, for example, the items that like we talked about, and then helps us build them into not just applications, but application grouping on how you need to actually have these different pockets of data segregations that needs to be moved.
Okay.
And another crucial, like you brought up a topic of fragile items or labeling different. Here as well, when we are actually planning to move, the customers have some sensitive data, whether it's a PII data or Fed regulated or others. So another step to that is, based on that, the strategy changes whether you wanted to have this move as is, or whether you wanted to actually keep it in where it is right now, or based on these are
So sort of the
older
R's of migration,
Yes.
retain, retire, replatform, re-architect. So you will, your AI sort of gives the best strategy
absolutely
for each of these applications.
Its assessment does with the GenAI capabilities gives us the best strategy for how the customer can actually go forward with their planned move towards AWS. Now, taking it a step further,
Yeah. The planning is done. Now
Yes.
it's time to, the moving date is here. Now what can Matilda do to help us?
that's right. So that's where the next evolution of Matilda helps them, where based on the workloads that you have that are modern enough that can be going as is to AWS, that can be one step of the way that Matilda helps us.
Okay.
But the way the real power of the platform comes in is way beyond, where you have certain legacy applications or some custom built applications that you have built, or some automation that you have actually built on your current estate over the years. The product helps us. One, we talked about, yes, simple rehost, right? As is going into the cloud, like we talked about. But where we are actually talking about the other R's, like I have replatform, they are old applications that are built. Now, how do I take them?
Okay.
It not only looks at intricacies of the internal of each of those application components, but using the GenAI capabilities and as infra as a code, generates the target blueprint and helps us recreate those applications in the target.
Got it.
So like if I take a simple compute element, right? you will know that even your laptop has a storage, a network that it is, what are the interfaces that it has. You have different tech stack that you are running inside, and it is interacting with different components out there. So if I take that list of things that you are actually doing, it looks at different dependent systems around it, not just as a box, and helps us recreate using with the infra as a code.
Sort of like, if this is your living room application, the couch, the TV, the, side table, everything is associated with it. And Matilda knows it because it did the deep assessment.
Yes.
It knows that when they move it to the cloud, they need to group them together, and the infrastructure as code knows how to correlate all of them.
Right on. Yes, yes. Right. Great. And if they are, let's take, that's one area where you are actually replatforming, and that's where it helps us generate with the infra as a code. Yeah. The other element, like these are, you have built it, applications sophisticated enough, right? Let's take a Golang or .NET based,
sort of a modern application.
Certain modern application. Now, AWS has overwhelming number of different types of services that the customer can take advantage of. Yeah. Let's take EKS, for example, right? You have been running in a compute element, and that is built semi-modern or modern application. Yeah. Taking that either to an EKS, let's say, or EKS is AWS, of course, container service, or Kubernetes service, or like when we are actually talking that into the case of serverless components, it analyzes for us the product wise how these are fitment to the EKS, and helps that they transform into EKS, like container artifacts are all generated, including Helm charts and so forth, so that it can help the customers ease that journey towards Kubernetes management.
So this could be like sort of taking measurements of your different furniture that you have and making sure that that furniture fits in the new house. Maybe
absolutely, yes.
On a rough basis.
Yes, yes. But as long as you want to, now that you made a decision, like you said in the analogy, like these can be moved and you want to keep them, and you are open to them structured in a proper way to manage, absolutely.
Got it.
So 3 different ways, right? One, I like what I have, don't change anything. It will help you simply get into the as is.
So rehost or lift and shift.
Yes. Now you have built certain legacy stuff that you are actually open to modernizing. Then it is actually helping you recreate those workloads, and with the standardization and well-architected framework to get into as an infra as a code. That is taking them beyond the current rehost that you'll see in the market.
And that's sort of the why they are moving in the first place, because they want to maximize the benefits that they can get in the cloud. Basically.
Absolutely. And the applications that are semi-modern or built there, taking them into a next leg so that they can be better scalable and with a higher performance into the managed services like Kubernetes service, or when we are actually talking about serverless components, like you detect they are actually Lambda, say for example, cron jobs or others that they are running, taking that to Lambda functions. Yeah. So helping them transform their technology stack that they are using today, like our old to a newer house or modern house. So you are actually, as you are going, or when you are there as well, evolving them into the next gen technology is where Matilda comes in very valuable.
Awesome.
Essentially, Matilda is enabling the customers not just from rehost, but a proper end-to-end analysis of the customer estate, and based on the different analysis, giving the assessment or the fitment on what needs to be happening, and it is helping them get there, whether it is actually replatforming using the infra as a code, like we discussed, or helping them transform to get into a container estate, or simple getting as is to the cloud, but energizing and removing the stress from the customer to get to the finish line faster, better, and how you can achieve that is as a product as well as a team that is the enabler to get there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, Rajesh. We hope to see you again.
Thank you, Bave. Thanks for having me, and thank you all for listening.